I'm a psychologist, and this video is titled Constantly Complaining About Being Poor Won't Make You Rich. So this video is really dedicated to all the people that are trapped paying rent and trapped in a cycle of not even really making enough money to survive. It'd be really anyone that's watching this video can benefit from the lesson. So obviously a lot of people, they like complain, right? They complain about not having enough money, or they complain about like the economy or whatever, but ultimately the economy is going to continue to move in the direction that it's moving regardless of your complaining. So you have really two choices: complain or be a bit creative and learn about the world around you. Now, I'm not a lawyer, so everything that I'm about to state next is just a brief canvassing of the relevant legislation across the world for different countries, but it just shows how a quick Google search can really change a person's life. So in New South Wales here in Australia, a landlord cannot reasonably withhold consent to transfer a tenancy or subletting for premises. So what this basically means is if you're renting and you apply to sublet, the landlord can't reasonably refuse that. So subletting is basically when someone else starts renting off of you. Basically, it's a really great way to reduce how much renting costs you. So instead of you paying, let's say, $400 a week, you could get someone in and they'll pay $200 and you'll pay the other $200. And landlords can't reasonably refuse this, and it's baked into legislation here in New South Wales and South Australia. So in New South Wales in Australia, but I'm going to quickly canvass legislation from other parts of the world to show you that there's just creative bits and pieces that you can look into if you just have a bit of time and stop doom scrolling on TikTok. So that's New South Wales. Here's the same thing for Canada. Somewhere in here, yep, the unless the landlord, basically right here for Canada, assignment and subletting. Here's the name of the legislation: Residential Tenancy Act. For British Columbia, Canada, same thing. Landlords can't refuse subletting. If you live in South Australia, you're legally protected from landlords massively increasing the rent without sudden notice. So you're legally protected by at least 60 days of a notice of a rent increase. So if you get sudden rent increases in South Australia, you can actually you have protection against being able to get better timing on when you're told when the rent will increase. I think it's 60 days, might be 90 or more. And I'm sure this legislation is available in other parts of the world too. If you live in Minnesota, you can actually get your rent as a tax refund. So here's the legislation here. The same thing applies in New York. You can have credits against tax for how much renting is costing you to reduce your taxable income. If you live in America and you need education and you're financially have exceptional financial needs, you can apply for a Pell grant for education, particularly for people who have not earned a bachelor's degree. So if you need education, and everyone needs education because obviously education is the future, so you can apply for a Pell grant if you don't have the money. And in Singapore, there's a similar agency called the SkillsFuture agency, which is responsible for promoting education within Singapore, so you look into them. So in just a quick Google search, took me 10 minutes, I was able to find very relevant, very useful information for people that are experiencing financial hardship. And there's relevant laws in different countries around the world, and I'm sure there's similar things wherever you are in the world that can assist you greatly to reduce how much life is costing you. So the take-home message for this video is really basically like stop complaining and start doing some Google searches, because this stuff can really help. And then, because at the end, the economy isn't changing, things aren't going to slow down, they're going to get faster, especially with AI, right? So it's best to get on top of your finances whilst you can, and you do that by not problem creating, but by problem solving.